In this video, I'll be doing Khan Academy's SAT Math Practice Unit 5 test of Foundations, Geometry, and Trigonometry. So let's get started. The figure shows a line intersecting two parallel lines. What is the value of x? So the lines that have an arrow are the parallel lines, and this right here is the transversal. And so we have to memorize like the things about the transversals and parallel lines. I actually have a video on this, so you can go check that out if this topic stumps you. But x and 46 would be so they're on the same side, consecutive interior angles. They're both on the inside and on the same side, and that would equal a 180 together. So all we have to do to find out x is 180 minus 46, which should equal x, and that's 134. So 134. Which of the following degree measures is equal to 5 pi radians? Okay, so this is where we're trying to convert radians to degrees. Basically, the way I think of radians is pi and like the number, and then we're trying to convert that to a degree. And so we have 5 pi here. In order to convert that to degrees, so 5 pi, we have to multiply it by 180 over pi. And so we would cross out the pi's, and then it would be 5 times 180, and that should give us the answer. And basically, if we're returning the degrees into radians, let's say we have 60 degrees and we turn that into radians, we'd want to put a pi at the bottom to turn that into a fraction, and then multiply that by 1, or pi actually, time over 180. And so basically when we have radians right here, it's with pi, and so we know to multiply it by a fraction that has pi at the bottom, and the degrees right here doesn't have pi, so we know to multiply it by the fraction that has pi at the top. The fraction always is 180 and pi, but where they stand on the numerator and denominator is where it changes. So 5 times 180 is 900 degrees, so it should be B. The circle has center O, and the measure of angle ROS is 72 degrees. The length of minor arc RS right here is what fraction of the circumference of the circle? Okay, so yes, we know that a circle is 360, and we know that this is a central angle, which means that the angle measure is equal to the arc length. So RS is 72. I can write that there. 72. And so we want to find out what fraction of this is with the entire circle. So honestly, all we have to do is set up a fraction 72 over 360 and simplify that fraction, and it'll give us one of these. So yeah, put that into the calculator. 72 over 360 is 0.2, which is 2 over 10, which is also 1 over 5. So the answer should be C. Triangle ABC is shown. What is sine of angle ABC? So this angle right here is what we're trying to find. We can call that x or theta or whatever you do. I'm just going to call it theta because I feel like we use this symbol more often for the triangles or trig, So we're trying to find the sine of it, and sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and you can know that by saying SOHCAHTOA. And so if we're doing opposite over hypotenuse, we can draw an arrow here. This is the opposite, and this is the hypotenuse. This is the adjacent side, so that means we won't be using this side. and we'll just be using 4 and 5, and it's opposite over hypotenuse, so that should equal 4 over 5, and that should be the sine of this angle right here. That is 4 over 5 is D. We have a 3D shape here. These types of questions aren't really my favorite. A right triangular prism is shown. The formula V is equal to 1/2 times L times H times W gives the volume V of the prism with length L, height H, and width of W. What is the volume in cubic centimeters of a right triangular prism with a length of 10 centimeters, a height of 4 centimeters, and a width of 3 centimeters? Okay, so this is the formula, and we're already given all of the variables. These are the variables right here. We're already given it. Length of 10, a height of 4, and a width of 3. So all we have to do is plug it in, and that is easy. So it's going to be 1/2 times length, height, and width. Length is 10, height is 4, and width is 3. And that gives us 60. So it should be 60. Cool. The equation of a circle is this. What are the center and radius of a circle? So of course you can just plug this in here into the Desmos calculator, but I will show the work. Let's just plug this into the calculator. We'll plug it into the calculator, but right now I want to show you guys. So basically, we should know what the circle equation is. It's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared. So basically, if I draw a graph here and then I draw a circle, let's say that's the circle, and the center is at this point right here, and that's the radius, or the radius could have been drawn this way too, it doesn't really matter. So r represents the radius. It's actually going to equal the radius squared. So if we say this circle, the radius is 3, then that means this is 3 squared, which is 9. And then we also have the center here, right? The center is going to be h and k, so the coordinates are going to be h, k. And you do have to pay attention that in the formula, it's got a minus sign there. So if it's like h is equal to like -6, it's going to be +6, which is what is shown here. And so that's basically how the formula or the equation works, because that's the equation. And so if we look back into our equation, we can see that it says +6, which means that h is equal to -6. And then for here, it says +8, which means that k is equal to -8. And then r is 1, so that means r squared is 1. So that means that r is going to be 1, because 1 squared is 1. So we can write 1 there. And so the center point should be -6, -8, and then radius is equal to 1. And then we can see or put into the Desmos graphing calculator to see if we're correct. Okay, here is the problem, and the center seems to be -6, -8, yeah. And the radius is 1, yep, -6 to -5, yeah, that's 1. And so our answer should be C. Triangle ABC is shown. What is cosine of angle BAC? So we're trying to find this angle, cosine of this angle right here. So you can call that theta. And then draw that arrow. This is opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. And so cosine is equal to ka, which is, toa, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is going to equal us 4 over 4 times square root of 5, but we don't want radicals at the bottom of a fraction. We never want that. So we multiply the bottom radical, square root of 5 times the square root of 5. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is going to give us 5, and 4 times 5 is 20, so the denominator is 20, and the numerator is going to be 4 times square root of 5.
Embarrassing!
And then we can simplify this fraction here, because 20 and 4 is both divisible by 4, so 20 divided by 4 is 5, so it should be 5, square root of 5 over 5. So it's going to be B. Okay, we're given a formula here, and it says the formula gives the volume V of a right circular cone with radius R and height H. What is the volume in cubic meters of a right circular cone with a radius of 4 and a height of 3 meters? Okay, so we're given both of the measurements, or all of the measurements that we need in this formula, so just plug in 1/3 times radius, which is 4, squared, times the height, which is 3. That's going to give us 50.3. But then when we look at the answer choices, it includes pi, so that means that in the formula, we'll delete pi to see the number. It will give us 16, and then 16 times pi will give us that 52 number. So it's A. A circle in the xy plane has the equation. This equation? How long is the radius of the circle? Okay, so we see 1.69. Again, the formula, this would be r squared. And so r squared is equal to 169. And if let's say we're trying to solve for r, we just have to square root both sides, and that will give us the actual radius. So what we have to do is square root of 1.69. That's going to give us 1.3, so the radius should be 1.3. 1.3. The circle has center O, and the measure of angle AOC is 30 degrees, so that means AC. The minor arc of AC is 30. The length of the minor arc AC is what fraction of the circumference of the circle? So this is exactly the same question, or not the same question, the same like type and format question of that other circle question that we had that was 72 degrees. And so we know that AC is 30. And so we just find out 30 over 360 will simplify to what? 60. We'll simplify to 1 over 12. So it should be 1 over 12. So this angle right here goes into the circle like 12 times. So it's A. Great work. So hopefully that helped, and thank you so much for watching, and good luck on the test.